Welcome back to Diaries of a Working Couple. My name's Jamie.
And I'm Chris.
And fun fact, ostriches have 4 kneecaps.
Do they?
They do.
Wow. I did not know that.
I didn't either. It's a very long story of how I got to that being my fun fact for the day. But
Now that I think about their legs, I feel like they should have 2 knees. Right? Aren't they like bent all weird?
no, I thought they just had like stick legs.
Huh. I don't know. Now I feel like I need to Google what an ostrich looks like.
Well, we can do that after the show.
Yeah.
But did that surprise you? Did that catch you off guard?
It was a little surprising.
Swear. Can never keep this man on his toes. He's never happy with what I have to say.
Yeah. So, exciting thing, Jamie happened to go back to Giant. If you listen to the last episode, we were talking about food and stuff, and I said that we went to Giant, and we saw this mystery ice cream, and it was really on my mind, and Jamie went back and got it.
So we normally record on like a weekend night. So either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday when I don't have work the next day.
Yes, that is the weekend.
Oh, it sounds weird to say weekend night.
During the weekend, you could just say. It doesn't need...
Either way. I don't know. It just sounds weird. But we normally record Friday, Saturday, Sunday when I don't have work the next day, or we'll record early enough in the day where whatever drink we make, it's not like a huge deal. But we are recording during the week this time. So instead of having fancy drinks, we have the mystery ice cream that Chris was very intrigued about. So Chris, why don't you tell the listeners what you see? I got each of us a small scoop of it. We didn't want to eat a whole bowl of ice cream while recording. But,
okay, so it's obviously vanilla ice cream. But I see some swirls of a different color. And to me, they look purplish. And I might see... I don't know. It looks kind of dark in this one section, which makes me think it's like... if I had to guess, I'm saying that this is vanilla blueberry.
I could definitely see that. It does look like a bluish purple, kind of like a blueberry color.
Yeah, it has a blueberry color, and I feel like there's like a piece of blueberry skin like right on this edge here, and that's what I'm seeing.
See, I don't
like
have anything like that.
It's a darker contrast than like the other swirl that I see in the scoop here.
You gonna try it?
I'll give it a try, but we've done blind taste tests and stuff in the past, and I'm never good at it, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to guess it just from taste. But okay, so it is vanilla. Does it have cinnamon in it? To me, I'm tasting like... It tastes very similar to when I get the vanilla Tripolitan ice cream. It has like...
It tastes...
They have like brown sugar or something.
I was going to say brown sugar. It kind of has like a mapley syrup flavor to it, in addition to the blueberry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to... You know what it kind of reminds me of?
It is blueberry, though, I think.
It's like a blueberry Pop-Tart, kind of.
Yeah, grab some of the blue section.
Who's calling you? Why are you popular?
I don't know who's calling me. I think you're right. I think it's supposed to be similar to like a blueberry Pop-Tart. It has some brown sugar-esque flavor to it. And when you do get deep into one of these purple swirls, which like it's not a very dark purple swirl, it's very light purple, but when you do get into that, it definitely has a blueberry taste.
It is good. It is good. It's very light. It's not like a very heavy chocolate peanut butter caramel type of ice cream. It's more of like a lighter sherbet-y flavor.
Yeah, it's not super sweet either. Like, it's not overkill. It's just like a very light hint of blueberry. And I really like the vanilla with brown sugar.
You know what this would be good with? Some angel food cake and mixed berries.
Yeah,
It'd
that
be
would be bomb. That is very good.
all right. So I do apologize for whatever mouth noises you heard when we were.
The mouth noises, and also you might have heard my phone ringing.
Yes, because he's popular. He, for some reason, thinks he has friends. But should I turn this light on?
No, it's okay.
Okie dokie.
But sorry, I was just checking to see if my phone was still recording because I received the phone call.
Anyway, but since we did that, Chris, you want to tell the friends what you're drinking?
So today I'm drinking a classic Jack and Coke. I did not measure anything out. I just pour enough Jack in there to make me feel comfortable, which is about yay much, which for people listening is about 1.5 inches, 2 inches worth of.
Just put your thumb and index finger, stretch them out a little bit, and that's roughly it.
Yeah, it's enough to get the juices flowing.
I am drinking a blue raspberry wine from Olney Winery, which is a Maryland winery.
Okay.
It is one of the open bottles of wine I've had in my fridge for a while.
It's a blueberry wine.
Blue raspberry.
Oh, blue raspberry.
Yes.
What color is it?
Blue. Like blue raspberry, Jolly Rancher, lollipop blue. Like the stuff that turns your teeth and tongue a shade of blue for like 3 days.
Oh, okay. So this isn't something that the wine connoisseur or whatever is going to bring over to you and let you swirl it around and,
It would be very odd if they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is not a fancy wine. I think they did this purely for novelty fact.
Does it taste good?
It does.
That's good. Yeah, Jack and Coke, that's my go-to when we go to like weddings or special events or work events and stuff.
It's a pretty solid standard.
For me, you really don't like the taste of Jack, so
I don't do well with whiskey.
Yeah. So, tell everybody about how I made you dinner tonight before you got home.
That is true. Before I don't want to spend too much time on this. Not to cut Chris down, but I don't want to banter for forever and a day.
Okay.
So, but Chris did make me dinner. Surprisingly, I got out of work relatively on time. Don't give me that face.
I'm giving her the pouting face because I tried so hard to make dinner tonight. Let's just skip by it.
But I don't want to skip by it. Anyway, no, I got out of work relatively on time today, which is a big surprise. I never get out of work on time. And I texted him just saying, hey, I'm on my way home. I know he talked about wanting to try and sous vide steaks tonight. It's something he's been working on. He just hasn't gotten right the past couple times he made it. And so he did a little research. He's like, okay, we're going to do it tonight. So I got home. The green beans were almost done. They just had to be seasoned. Mashed potatoes were done, and he was searing the steaks that he had already sous vide. So they were all pretty much done. The only thing I did was just season the green beans that were already cooked.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That was gross.
Oh boy. Yeah, so sous videing is not very hard. It's a very easy thing to do, but before we had a legitimate sous vide machine, I used to just use a special device which would just have a thermometer end on it, and it would just turn on and off an outlet, and I used to do that with my crock pot, so it was very
ratchet.
Inaccurate, and it didn't move the water around, so you had temperature differences in the water and stuff. So I was using the same temperatures that I had with my ghetto setup with the legitimate machine, and it was just way too rare, and it didn't render any of the fat or anything. So this time I nailed it, except for the fact that I need to sear the fat cap on the New York strip a little bit longer.
But just a little longer. For the most part, it melted. It was very well seasoned. It was very well cooked inside and outside. It was not well done. I would say it was probably more medium well.
It was probably medium. I mean,
Medium.
mine was pink on the middle.
Mine was pink. Listen, I'm not good at judging temperatures.
Yeah, I feel like you have to cook a strip at a higher temp just to get the fat to melt. But anyway, I feel like I nailed it.
It was
It
delicious.
went
He
really
did
well.
very, very well.
Yeah, it worked out really well. So, yay for me.
Meanwhile, the last time I made dinner, I made mac and cheese and hot dogs. So
And it was so good.
sometimes you just got to trade off like that.
So what are we talking about today? I think
Today we are chit-chatting about hobbies.
hobbies.
Hobbies. Hobby
Nice.
lobbies.
Yeah, I have like 3 main hobbies right now. 3? 3.
Yeah. I'd say 3.
So one, I've mentioned it before in other episodes, but disc golf is probably my main hobby now.
Also, you might have seen a picture of it on our Instagram at Diaries of a Working Couple. Go check it out.
Good plug. Look at that. I like that. Self-promotion. Yeah, so disc golf is something I've been doing a lot recently. I started about 2 years ago, and now I go at least twice a week. So that's my first and probably the hobby that I spend the most time on. And then I have 3D printing, which I can get into that a little bit later. And what was the third one that we were talking? Oh,
Apex?
okay. So then I really have 4 like main ones. Video games.
Yes.
So I play a lot of right now Apex Legends, but there's
Rocket League.
it's been Rocket League, Call of Duty in the past. I kind of jump around, but right now
Oh, what was the one that you used to... Fortnite? You and Cyrus played Fortnite before it got cool.
we played Fortnite before a ton of little kids got access to playing for hours and hours on end, because it was really fun when everybody sucked. But now little kids are so good that it's hard to even play without just getting wrecked the whole time. So yeah, video games, and then my 4th one is probably riding motorcycles.
Yeah, I feel like you don't do that as much now.
It's been so hot.
No, but just in general, I feel like
I used to ride everywhere,
you used to ride everywhere.
but now that we have a little doggo, I can't bring her on the motorcycle when I have to go somewhere. So she forces me to have to drive a car instead of riding my bike. I would still ride my bike pretty much every day if I didn't have to bring the little nugget around.
You don't have to bring the little nugget around.
Well, also, I don't drive anywhere at all anymore.
That's true.
I used to commute to work via motorcycle. I used to leave the house a lot more in general. Like when I lived on my own, I would do grocery shopping and stuff. So I would just ride my motorcycle to like Giant, fill a backpack up with stuff, and that typically only lasts a few days. So I got to go back to Giant again. So yeah, that's like mainly the 4 main things that are like my current hobbies. What about you?
My current hobbies involve napping and sleeping and snuggling with our nugget. I know. I nap a lot, and I can't even explain it, because there will be times where I can get through a whole day, no problem. And then there are days where I'll get through maybe half a day and be so beat. Like, there have been times I'm sitting getting my nails done and I'm like half falling asleep with the nail tech like painting or doing whatever she does to my nails.
I think that's just because it's a bad habit to nap halfway through the day often, because then it makes your body think that it needs a nap halfway through the day.
But that's the thing. I get through work, no problem. Like, on occasion, I'll have like a midday slump where I need a sugar rush, like a pick-me-up to get you through the day. But for the most part, I get through work, no problem. And I think it's just because if I'm here and I'm not forcing myself to do anything, or if I'm giving myself a lazy day, I don't stay stimulated and active to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this. And
yeah, like last weekend, I wanted to get up early and play some disc golf, and I tried to wake you up for it, and you wouldn't wake up for that.
I like to sleep. Okay.
And then when I got home, you got up, or you got up very shortly before I got home, and you went out and did grocery shopping, and I think you threw in a load of laundry, and that brought you about 3 hours into the day, which then brought you to your nap time.
And I can't explain it because like I said, there are days where if I have enough to do and I have the energy and the mental capacity to do it, I can just go all day and not even worry about naps.
I
But
never,
you only notice the days where I do nap.
I never, I never really have to nap when I have a long day. If I wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and then go throughout my day, I'll hit times where I yawn and I definitely feel tired. But then you just kind of push through that a little bit, and then it gets you through the rest of the day. And then when I do take a nap, because I feel like I'm extra tired, I usually wake up feeling pretty groggy, and
Yeah, you're
I
miserable
just
for
get
the
like
rest of the
annoyed,
day.
and yeah, it's just not a good thing.
So, other than napping and sleeping and snuggling with our doggo, my hobbies really range. I don't stick with hobbies for long periods of time.
Well, what's your most current hobby?
My most current hobby,
You shouldn't have to be thinking right now. You do it
probably
every day.
reading, playing games on my phone.
Reading.
I was going to say both.
Yeah, you read at least a few hours a day.
I do. I try to read before bed because you're not supposed to look at your screens before bed, all that kind of stuff. But every time I come home with a new book, Chris looks at me like I have three heads, and I can't imagine why, other than the large amount of books I have filling my bookshelf that I have yet to read.
Jamie says bookshelf, but we have a whole room in our house, which is where we're sitting to record this, and we call it the library. And it has two 36-inch bookshelves that are floor to ceiling. There's seven rows of books on each one of those, and then it has a middle section that connects that, which has another six sections for books.
When he says sections and rows, he means shelves.
Shelves. Yeah, I'm not very versed in the book reading, area. I don't really
He doesn't
read any
deal
books.
he doesn't deal with books and I don't deal with computers, and that's why we work well together.
Yeah, so Jamie has this whole wall filled with books, and how many out of all of these books that we have, how many do you think you've actually read? Just like a percentage, 10%, 80%. What do you think?
I'd say probably about 10 to 15%.
10 to 15% that you've read, which means that you have, 80% here or 85% of books that you haven't read, and there's a huge amount there. There's at least 100 books there that you have not read.
But see, the problem is you got to be in the mood to read the book. Like, I have cute romance books, but if I'm not in the mood to read a cute romance book, then what's the point? I have that book that I got at the beach where I had the author sign it because he was signing it. And it's called A Little Hope, and it's well written, but the first couple chapters are real downers, and I could not get into it at the beach.
Is
They were
that
not good beach. Ethan Joella.
Ethan Joella? Shout out to Ethan Joella. I saw him in the bookstore. He was super nice.
He
I don't read,
was.
so he didn't make the sale for me, but he got you.
He was really nice, and it seems like it's going to be a good book. I just being at the beach wanting something light and kind of mindless to read, this was not the book. This is more of the book where you get curled up with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and you just curl up in a chair Maybe if it's like raining or like fallish outside with the leaves changing, a little cooler, that's a good time for this book.
And that is your Jamie book review.
Reading Corner with Jamie.
So, you also play disc golf.
I do play disc golf, nowhere near as often as you do. So I used to play volleyball way back when. But that's something I want to get back into. That's something I've done since I was like 11 or 12, and I've really enjoyed it.
Your whole family is a volleyball family.
Yeah, so like technically they didn't, but we always joke around that my parents met at a volleyball tournament because that was like the second or third time that they met each other. So that's what I count it as. Because I think the first time they met each other, they were at a bar. So I don't know if that counts.
Yeah. Well, your dad was a volleyball coach for years and years and years.
My mom coached volleyball too.
Your mom coached volleyball. Your brother currently coaches volleyball.
Both of them
Both
do.
brothers actually technically coach volleyball.
They do.
You were volleyball all the way through,
Through college, I played intramurals and played in pickup league or in the volleyball club at Jefferson. And I would even, I played in a couple
your
leagues.
Undergrad, you were there.
Yeah, I played
for
through
volleyball.
college.
Yeah.
And then I even played in different leagues, like adult leagues, in Philly after I graduated Jefferson. With some of the girls I knew from Jefferson volleyball, we kind of went out and did our own thing. And I really enjoyed it. I miss it a lot. And it's kind of difficult. So as you guys, if you listened to I think it's episode 5, is Jamie going back for her MBA?
Yeah, maybe. It's one of those.
I think it's episode 5. But if you listen to that, you hear me talk about how anxious I get just thinking about going and introducing myself to new people and like getting to know more people. I have really bad, like, I don't even want to call it social anxiety because I'll go out and do it, but I really, really got to hype myself up for it and force myself to do it. And now that we are outside of the city, all of the leagues I were in were inside the city or over in Jersey. And that's so far from where I am that I have to try and find a league around here. But to do that, that means I have to that means I have to like introduce myself to new people and go somewhere where I know absolutely no one. And
though I think that would be a good exercise because that might get you some friends in the area.
Excuse you. I have all of my friends right here.
Jamie is pointing to her books.
Yes. Yes, all of my books behind me.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I know I need to do and I need to push myself to do it. I just like to pick and choose my battles with myself. And my current battle with myself is not napping and doing laundry.
There you go.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Yeah, those are good goals.
But no, I used to do that. I used to craft a lot. We have a junk room in our house that's also like our craft room.
Multi-purpose room.
Yes. It's in our elementary school, we had a random large room in the basement, and it was always called the MPR, the multi-purpose room. And so anytime I hear a multi-purpose room, that's what I think of, the MPR. Anyway, nice. I know. Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
But no, we have a junk room, craft room, multi-purpose room, whatever you want to call it. I have my sewing machine up there. I have my Cricut up there. We were doing Cricut things for a little bit. I was making pillows for a little bit. I used to paint. I used to draw. I have all these ambitions and things that I want to do that just end up half done, or
the motivation gets lost.
It does. And I think it's just because I get worried that things aren't going to go well or like turn out right.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. My hobbies like switch every couple months. Like I used to crochet.
Yeah,
And I
you have
got
a
tired
short
of that.
attention span when it comes to things like that. Like
Yeah.
you got really involved with making. First, you made the cushion for our window box in the library. Then you started making pillows because you learned how to better sew the zippers on. And then, like, you made a few pillows, and then it just like totally quit. Went to a different hobby,
Yeah.
aka napping.
Yeah, I have a bunch of things that I would like to do, and trying to stay focused and motivated to see it through to the end is usually where things go kaput.
Yeah. So, circling back to disc golf,
Yes.
because I love disc golf and I'm going to talk about it. What is your, vision for disc golf? Is it a hobby for you? Is it something you just do to spend time with me? Because, every time we go out, I question whether you actually enjoy yourself because you put a lot of pressure on yourself to perform well, though, you don't go that often. So
It's definitely more of a hobby. It's not something like I like going because I like spending time with you doing something that you enjoy.
yeah, I just didn't know if it was something that you would consider one of your hobbies or if it's more of just a way of spending time with me as opposed to, something that you're interested in doing.
I wouldn't I wouldn't call it a hobby in the fact that I would not go by myself to go play disc golf.
Okay.
You do. I would not.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
But I do enjoy going. I just get frustrated. Like yesterday. Yesterday, I had set a goal for myself. And I thought I had. And it was not an unrealistic goal. It was a realistic goal. But it was a steeper goal, I guess you could say.
I would say it's a pretty aggressive goal for, your skill level.
But I was very close to it, and I like to push myself and challenge myself. I don't want to give myself a goal that's going to be easy to reach because then, yeah, I reach my goal, but it's kind of like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to challenge myself to read a children's book in a day. Like,
The fact that you bring that up reminds me of every time we play Ticket the Ride, I never want to fail a contract, so I always pick the very easy ones, and then I never pick a new one because I'm always afraid that I'm not going to be able to, I don't challenge myself to actually
And I'm the
reach
opposite.
for the bigger contracts.
And I do challenge myself. So, yes, I get frustrated because the goals I pick are realistic. They are realistic, but they are more challenging goals. They are not easy peasy lemon squeezy. Sorry, I was taking the lid off my wine glass. But they're not super easy. And last night I thought I hit my challenging goal and I was so happy, and Chris is like, "Oh no, you were one stroke over." And I was like,
Man, if I knew that you had this internal goal to shoot this way, I would have totally said you hit it. Just so that you were happy because you were shooting really well, but you missed it by one stroke.
I missed it by one stroke, but it's so frustrating to do as much as you can. And yeah, I know I had some like really bad throws where I hit trees that were like 3 feet in front of my face.
But if you look at the overall day on the short nine,
The short nine I shot,
you shot your first round where you shot negative.
yes. And that's including a bogey that I had. That first hole really fucks me up every time.
Yeah, and that was like the normal pars, right? Like the course pars, you would have been like under by 5 or 6
That's
because the
because
course pars are stupid.
The course pars are for like children.
But you shot really well, and you shot really well on the longs too. I mean, you shot better that day than you have in a very long time, if you've ever shot better than that. And I don't remember a time that you shot better.
No, that was definitely one of my best. And I worked so hard, especially on the last like hole or two, just to be like, I need to get this par. I need to get this par so I can hit my goal. And I kept, even on the like holes where I like double bogeyed or whatever, I was like, okay, this sucks. But literally the next hole, I'm like, okay, just get a par and we'll be back on track. Just get a par and we'll be back on track. And like, I was able to talk myself through that, which for me is huge because I usually just start like throwing a hissy fit the first like hole or two that I throw very poorly. And because it's one of those things, I get very frustrated with me not doing what I know I can do. So I got so into it, and I was able to like keep myself out of my head, like, okay, we're just gonna do this. Okay, we're just gonna do this. And I was able to keep it even the whole time. And got to that last goddamn hole. And I think I hit a par or a bogey. And I was like, you know what? I think I did it. I think I hit my goal. And you're like, oh no, you're one over. And that's when everything just crashed.
Yeah, I had the same exact situation happen though, because remember I threw my last putt and I made it, and I was like, "Woo!" Like this, I hit my goal, and then I looked at the scorecard and I was like, "Damn it, I did not hit my goal," because I totally forgot that I got an extra bogey.
But at the same time, if you look at it kind of like what you were saying with Ticket to Ride, like you, I don't want to say you don't push yourself because you wouldn't be where you are without pushing yourself. But there are times when you challenge yourself and times that you don't. And so I don't know if that goal for you was a challenge or if that was kind of like a, if I hit it, great. But if not, I'll get it next. You know what I mean?
That goal to shoot even on the long holes at that course, realistically, if I could throw every shot to my ability, I should be like probably like one or two under par. But I've never shot even par yet since I've been going there, because I always, rip a few to the side or into a tree or something that really causes me to panic, and then I go for the hero shot.
Don't be a hero.
Don't be a hero is the number one phrase I've been learning, because I've caused personal injuries because of that and just add way more strokes to my score, and it's not worth it. I have some goals now in disc golf, though, that I'm still struggling with. I want to sign up for like the local league
Right.
at the course up in the other town.
Near work.
Yeah, near work. And I've told myself multiple times that I'm going to go sign up. I just don't have the guts to do it yet, because there's just a different feeling when you go to tee off and you have other people watching you that you don't know. And it's just been a struggle for me to like, the same thing that kind of you were saying about signing up for a volleyball league, just meeting all these new people. And I've never played a form of disc golf that was very organized, where all the rules are in effect, and you could possibly add strokes to your score if you've foot fault or put your foot in the wrong spot, or do something that is against the rules, which I probably don't even know all the rules, even though I watch a lot of disc golf coverage. Pros don't break probably 90% of the rules, so you never get to see those.
Yeah, but the nice thing is if you go play with these guys, especially guys who have been playing in the league for a bit, they probably know the rules, and that you can probably be like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I think I do, but please stop me if I'm going to do something wrong.
Yeah, and I've also learned through disc golf and other sports, typically when you play with somebody who's better than you learn how to get better faster. I've been playing with somebody I met at Branchwood, and just playing with him maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, my skill level has gone up significantly because he's just so much a better player than I am, and you get to learn how he approaches shots and physical form of how you throw them and everything. You kind of start to pick that stuff up from just watching. So I think that signing up for something like that would improve my game too, which would in turn make me more happy playing, or participating in my hobby. I just don't want to get to the point where I'm so far in to where it ruins it as a hobby. Like the
Okay.
guy that I mentioned that I play with, when we go and play, when he throws a few bad shots, he starts getting in a bad mood.
Like me.
Kind of like you, but you could just tell that he's very disappointed in himself when he's playing because he missed a few shots or he missed a few putts. And I want to go out and play disc golf to enjoy myself and not stress over the fact that my score isn't as great as it was previously or whatever. So I'm trying to keep it. I want to get more into an organized thing, to meet new people that play the sport. It might give me some new friends to go out and play with, and other ones are not available.
He just doesn't want to play with me anymore.
I want to play with you, but you also get very sad and upset when we're out there sometimes. So it's good to have a backup plan. But yeah, so that's really all about disc golf. Where do you want to go from here?
How did you get into video games? Specifically the ones where okay. Back up. My experience with video games is solely PlayStation, GameCube, the Wii. It's never been something where you go online and hook up with your friends or meet or anything like that. So, how did you get into that, and where did you decide, oh, this is what I like versus this is what I don't like?
When I was growing up, my parents got us a PlayStation 1. And we played. I mean, I've always grew up with video games. So, like, I had a Game Boy Color. That was, like, my first gaming console. And, like, Pokemon Blue is where I started, probably.
Because growing up, sorry, not to cut you off, but growing up, we had PlayStation 2. We had a Wii. One of our neighbors had a GameCube that we'd always go down and play. Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS,
Yep.
all that kind of fun stuff. But for us, that was always local only. It was never anything that you, like, reached out and you played with other people that wasn't someone that was sitting right next to you or the computer.
I believe they had online modes starting from PlayStation 2 or maybe PlayStation 3. I switched over from PlayStation to Xbox when I guess the Xbox 360 came out. That's when I went to Xbox, and that has the capability of going online. I think PlayStation 2 might have, and if it didn't, PlayStation 3 definitely did. And like I was lucky enough that my dad ran an Ethernet cable from our router up in his office and the top floor of their house all the way down to the basement so that we could hook our Xbox up online.
That's nice. So I know even if PS2 had that capability, I know we did not have anything like that.
Like originally, I don't think there was wireless. Like
No.
I mean like when like Xbox came out, I know the first Xbox had the capability of playing online, but I think it was Ethernet only. PlayStation 3 definitely had Wi-Fi, if I remember correctly. I didn't have a PlayStation 3, but anyway, like there was a membership that was associated with that too.
That's what it was.
I don't know about PlayStation. I feel like PlayStation used to be free, and everybody was like, why would you buy an Xbox? Because you have to pay for a membership. But I remember a lot more of my friends were on Xbox than they were on PlayStation. So I wanted an Xbox so that I could play with my friends. I think a lot of people are still like that to this day. Like PlayStation people probably grew up with more people that played PlayStation, and Xbox people grew up with people that played Xbox, except for some of the consoles have exclusive games for each one. And if, you know, some people get tied into those series and need the Switch consoles to continue to play them.
It just makes me wonder because if there was any sort of online subscription, I know we would not have had it.
We got it on the Xbox 360, and Barry and I used to play a lot of Forza Online, which is like a racing game, a racing simulator game. And Call of Duty was huge. We played so much Call of Duty. And I don't think we really played any other games online. I probably played Guitar Hero online a few times.
How does that even work? Like with an
It's
online
just the
mode?
same thing as playing Guitar Hero locally, except you kind of work as a team. But like, somebody takes guitar, somebody takes bass, and somebody takes drums or whatever. Kind of like Rock Band, but everybody's in different spots.
Okay. Okay.
But I don't now that I think about it, I don't understand the benefit of that unless you're playing with like friends that you know. Because like, who cares if you have a bassist playing and you get to see his, little tiles flying down or whatever
Yeah.
online. I don't know why you would do that. But Call of Duty and Forza were like our main games. I didn't switch over to PC gaming until I graduated college.
Really?
Well, that's kind of true and kind of false. So we used to play a lot of Counter-Strike in college, and that was a game that needed so little resources because it was an older game that we could play it on like our laptops. We had it on our MacBooks, and people with minimal Windows PCs or whatever could still play it. So we used to play that, like me, Jason, and Cyrus used to play that in college a lot. But when I got my job out of school, my first purchase was buying all the components to build my computer that's upstairs.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah, my parents thought I was nuts because, computer parts are expensive, and they knew that, I had a nice like MacBook at the time, and they're like, why do you need, a gaming computer? But you see how the amount of time I spend on it, it's worth it to me.
Oh yeah. I thought it was really cool that you built your own computer.
That's like common for people in my field. Like most people that I know have built their computers unless they have very like non-computer hobbies. Then,
Yeah, that's not very common for people in my field, so I think it's cool.
yeah. Well, your tech from your old store built his own computer, I think.
Did he build his own computer?
I think he said he did.
I don't know if he did. I know he did a lot of upgrading to his like Wi-Fi and everything, but I don't know if he built his own computer.
Doesn't matter. Off topic.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, I built my computer in 2017, and I've been using it ever since. I had to buy a new graphics card though, which you were there for that in the Micro Center when the stars aligned during the Bitcoin era, where it's, people that aren't in computers wouldn't really know, but it was hard to buy graphics cards for computers. I don't know, like a year ago, because so many people were using those for mining Bitcoin. So like people would buy them and resell them for 2 or 3 times the cost, which is, they cost about $1,000 or $1,200. So people were buying them for like $3,000 just for cryptocurrencies and stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that.
I was so lucky when we went to that Micro Center.
I kept refreshing the screen, their online screen, because it would keep the track of how many they have in stock.
Yeah, we were on our way. Where were we coming from? Were we coming back from vacation?
It may have been vacation.
Yeah, and we were passing the Micro Center, and I remember you checked online, but online they did not have the the one that I actually ended up with in stock. And we arrived there, they had some of the lower tier ones that I was going to buy if I couldn't buy the one that I got. And I asked him, did you have any of the 3080s, which what I got? Do you have any of those in stock? And he was just like, I think that I saw one back there. And he like went back. He eventually got it. I remember I was like shaking when he gave it to me because I was so excited.
Yes. I do remember that.
And then when they asked me if I wanted the protection plan for it, and I see my wife looking at me, and I think I turned it down.
I think you turned it down, but here's the thing. Side note, another reading corner with Jamie. Jamie breaks everything. Not on purpose, but I have very bad luck, especially with anything that's technological.
Sometimes it's negligence as well.
That is also sometimes the case, not with my technology as much.
Yeah, you remember breaking the footrest on the couch the other night?
Okay, listen. I put my footrest up because I had come home from work. And I put my footrest down so I could go play with lava. And my shoes that I had taken off while I was sitting on the couch just got stuck underneath the footrest. And it just popped the footrest off the little mechanical
That's not
thing.
what you thought when it happened.
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But Chris fixed it, so it's fine.
Yeah, I actually fixed it by breaking mine. I did the same exact thing when you went upstairs. I shoved your shoes right under it and closed it right down on it because... Never mind. I won't say that. But...
Because you wanted to know how it worked?
Exactly.
See, this is why we both went into STEM, because we want to know how things work. Why
exactly.
things
I wanted
happen.
to know, why did that break happen?
Yeah.
And,
what can we do to prevent it next time?
And it is warranted for 3 years. And,
it is.
If they were going to come out check out one of them, might as well have them check out both. Was kind of my thought process, but not really. I do not want to admit that. So,
well, honestly, it would suck to have them come out and have to replace these couches. Mostly because my butt print has already been very well worn into that one seat cushion, and I don't want to have to break in another love seat.
Also, we have a problem with patience when things in our household break and have to be replaced.
No, it's not. Okay. So here's the thing.
We're getting so off topic here.
Very off topic, but I can bring it back. Don't fret. I like being able to do things myself. I've always prided myself on being independent and being able to fix things and take care of things myself. Know how to change a tire. Know how to change oil. Do I want to do it myself? No. Could I do it myself if I had to? Absolutely. Same with bugs. Every time there's a bug in the house, I say, hey, Chris, there's a stink bug. Come get it. He's like, what would you do if I weren't here? I'm like, I'd kill the bug myself. But I like knowing that I don't have to. I like knowing that I have someone I can ask for help and they'll say, okay. But I also know I can do it myself. Our bookshelves that we have in my lovely library, I said, I want to put up the bookshelves. Chris said, that's going to have to wait till the weekend. Long story short, I wasn't going to be here for the weekend, so it was going to have to wait for like 2 or 3 weeks. I wasn't happy about it. I know how to use a stud finder. I know how to put in wall anchors. I went to go do it myself. Chris did not let me do it myself. But I could have done it myself.
Our future children's lives could depend on that job, so I needed to make sure that it was done correctly.
So when the heating element in our oven breaks, we can fix it ourselves, but we need the part. And that's the one thing that's out of our control. And it has been in the mail for about a week now.
I pretty much canceled it now. Well, I went to Amazon and said that I haven't received it yet.
It's supposed to be here last Wednesday.
Yeah, so we've been without an oven for about a week now.
Literally last week, I made pork chops in our toaster oven, Brussels sprouts in our air fryer, and one of those Knorr pasta sides in the microwave.
You typically make Brussels sprouts in the air fryer anyway, so
You're
it's
right, but I
not
would have,
any different.
but I would have been able to air fry the pork chops if it weren't for the Brussels sprouts.
Anyway, back to hobbies. How are you going to turn this back into a hobby again?
Well, I was talking about my bookshelves.
Okay, so you like kind of steered back to the hobby and then kind of took another left turn.
Listen, you're the one who brought up the oven, okay?
Yeah, I don't know why I brought up the oven though.
I don't have patience. That's what you
Oh
were
yeah,
starting.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
but that's another reason why I don't craft as much as I used to, because I don't have the patience to sit there. If it's painting, I don't have the patience to sit there and let it dry. I'd be painting 3 or 4 projects at once because I don't have the patience to sit and wait. Because if I sit and wait and go to do something else, I lose interest, I forget, and then I come back to it like a couple days later. It's like, oh crap, I was doing that. And then it never gets done.
You would hate 3D printing because I sit there for 2 hours and design a part, and then I go and put it on the 3D printer, and it could take 10 hours to finish.
But that's the thing, is that's fine because once that finishes, then I have the part that I need.
Not always true because, you get very lucky if you design something properly the first time. Think about the handle for the rototiller I just made. I did about 4 test prints of the internal mechanism, and then I drew the handle out, and I had to print 2 of those before I was able to put it all back together and use it. So that was like a total of probably 20 hours of printing and 2 or 3 hours of design work.
So that, to me, that makes it sound like I would use 3D printing for fixing things. Instead, you know what I would use 3D printing for?
More of those lizards.
Absolutely. Pause. Just because I want to get the lizard out, in case Chris wants to make a reel of the lizard.
So Jamie sent me this picture that she saw on Instagram or Facebook or something of this lizard that was laying over top of a book, and it was a 3D printed lizard, and like all of the pieces of the lizard move. So the head, the arms, the body, it's probably 15 different parts, but it all prints as one piece. She's counting it now.
19
different pieces, but it's all, one piece that gets printed out on the printer. She saw it and she sent it to me, and she's like, I need 12 of these.
I said I wanted one in every color he has loaded into his printer. So
far she has a yellow one.
I do, and his name is Dewey.
Dewey.
I've decided.
Nice. Was that just on the spot?
No, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's just so hard because do I want a scary name? Do I want a fun name? Do I want one that, he's yellow? Do I call him Sunshine?
There are a lot of people that use 3D printers for that hobby, though, of just they go online, they find something that they like that somebody already designed, and then they print it out, and they're like, woo, I got a little toy.
That's literally exactly what I would use 3D printing for.
That's probably what 70% of people that have 3D printers do. It's just they go on Thingiverse or some other repository site that has a bunch of things that people designed, which, like, I have a bunch of things that I designed on Thingiverse, but they're mostly functional things. But a lot of people do these crafty things too, and that's all they do with their 3D printers is print out little lizards and stuff like that.
You would not want me to get into 3D printing because we would have little lizards like this covering every surface in our house.
That's fine. Bringing this topic back to hobbies, my 3D printing hobby was a huge part of my life for a little while, but I feel as though making the YouTube channel to, I guess promote some of the stuff that I was printing and designing and stuff like that kind of took a lot of the fun out of what I was using my 3D printer for. So I haven't done much 3D printing recently except for like the rototiller handle. I haven't been using my 3D printers because I think that starting a YouTube channel on it and all the work that went into thinking of projects and editing videos and doing all that stuff kind of took the fun out of it.
I think that was the kicker for you, the video editing.
Video editing takes forever. So if we ever release a video version of this podcast, which we started recording starting last episode, we recorded a full video, which we were mainly using for reels and stuff for Instagram, but now we're filming the whole thing. If that ever goes on YouTube, it's going to be fully unedited. It's just going to be the podcast audio used with the video that's on the camera.
Well, if you think about it, that's how our podcast is anyway. It's mostly unedited.
It's fully unedited unless we say something stupid with names or stuff like that.
Or if like doorbells go off.
Yeah, that was quite annoying.
But for the most part, we don't edit anything out in the middle.
Yeah.
Which is
ideal. I mean, I think that if somebody's going to listen, like all the little editing touches and stuff probably wouldn't make that person, or like wouldn't attract new people or help maintain an audience. They're here for us talking or whatever. So anyway, I don't think it's going to add much if we put all that time into it. Plus, I still think that this is just like a good way of, putting all this stuff down and recordings for later on use as well, if our kids want to listen to it.
And I mean, it's good to just sit and talk with you. I know normally when most people say, oh yeah, dinner is when I get a chance to catch up with my spouse or my family, and dinner for us is 9 times out of 10, I just got home from work. One of us is making dinner or picking it up on the way home, but I just spent 10 plus hours on my feet. I just want to sit down and relax and do something mindless.
Yeah.
And just kind of decompress. And so usually we'll watch a TV show, whatever series or whatever that we're on to at the time.
Yeah, what are we on now?
Interrogation Raw.
Yeah.
But it would be nice to be able to sit there and talk about it. But at the same time, it's nice to just kind of sit and just relax. I think that's one of the nice things I like about our relationship is that we can sit in the same room and we don't have to fill the silence. We can just be content with the presence of each other there without having to talk to each other all the time.
Indeed.
So I think this is, I don't know. I enjoy being able to sit here and talk to you. Just actually talk. But
circling back to hobbies again.
Back to the hobbies.
The last thing I was going to mention was my motorcycle riding, and I feel like recently I haven't been riding as much. I mean, I know that you said that I haven't been riding as much probably like this year and stuff, but recently I had a friend from high school die on a motorcycle, and I knew him pretty well. I knew him all the way through elementary school, through high school. I used to hang out with him a lot outside of school, and that was a little rough, especially because there's some details of the accident that just makes you cringe a little bit.
We're brutal.
And, just the fact that, like, it could possibly happen to me because of the hobby that I choose. It's just a little scary. So I know that for the last 2 months, or I forget when he actually passed. When was family vacation? That was at least a month ago.
That was about a month ago.
So about a month ago, I really haven't touched my motorcycles. I just rode my larger motorcycle the other day to the diner, but I haven't really touched them much. I will get back on them. I feel like I can't live in fear. I should enjoy what I like to do, but it's still a little scary.
Yeah, and the other thing you have to remember is if you take precautions, and I'm not saying if you take every single precaution, you'll be safe. Because that's not how it works. Unfortunately, that's never how it works. Because you got to worry about other people.
Yeah, I'm not
But
worried about myself. I find it very, very, very unlikely, and I'll knock on wood.
please.
I find it very unlikely that I would die on a motorcycle without intervention from somebody else. I've been riding all my life, quads and dirt bikes and motorcycles, and like riding is so second nature to me that it's kind of nice that I can focus 100% of my attention on surroundings and what's going on around me. But there's always those little worries of, is a car going to poke out of this street, or is a drunk driver going to just swerve over and hit me? And those are things that you just can't control, and they're unavoidable.
Yeah.
But in a car, you got a metal box and airbags and stuff surrounding you. On a bike, who knows? You're a rag doll at that point.
Yeah.
So it's a little scary. It hit me a little harder than I thought it would. And it definitely is shaking my nerves up a little bit. Especially when I'm riding, too. I've noticed that, like, I'm just so careful now and everything.
And that's totally fair. I remember back in my 4th year of Jefferson, one of our classmates died in a motorcycle accident. And it was on a major highway, and it involved him on a motorcycle colliding with a larger vehicle. I don't know if it was like a van or a box truck or something like that, but it was a larger vehicle. And I don't know all the details of it, but I remember like being a lot more cautious and concerned when you would go out riding. I was just very lucky because I don't want to say lucky, but when he passed, it was November. It was either November. I want to say it was November because I remember I was down in Maryland for a rotation, and I had to drive up to Jersey for his funeral. But I remember being nervous about you riding motorcycles, but also being a little more grateful that it's December, so you weren't riding as much because of how cold it was. But it's definitely a shock to your system, especially if it's something you've done forever.
Yeah, and I just had a friend at work go down too, and luckily he's totally safe, but he just said a car cut him off and put him down, and luckily he wears full protective gear head to toe, so he was okay. He still went to the hospital, but I think that it was mostly cuts and scratches and stuff. But
yeah, did Mom ever tell you about Uncle Tim when Uncle Tim went down on his Harley?
No, but I did hear a story about them seeing a buffalo on his Harley.
I do remember that story, and that buffalo tried to charge at them, it sounded like.
Yeah.
They were very close to the buffalo. My aunt and uncle, they go camping a lot. My uncle rides his motorcycle, and I don't know if they take it with them, if they put it in the camper, but they've gone out to a million different states out west. And they camp and explore the national parks. And I think they were in Montana. For some reason, I want to say Montana. I could be very wrong with this. Don't quote me. But they were in some state, and my aunt was on the back of the bike. My uncle was driving it, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because, like, you ride a motorcycle. You don't drive a motorcycle. But he was... Like, my aunt was definitely riding. She had nothing... Anyway, semantics. But they pulled up to a buffalo because it was on the side of the road, and my aunt was like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to get such a close-up picture. It's going to be awesome. The buffalo did not think it was awesome and started charging at him. And my aunt just kept, like, hitting my uncle and was like, go, 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 go.
Yeah,
But
that could be scary.
I'm sure I've never come relatively close to a buffalo, so I can't speak for it, but I have heard it is quite intimidating.
I've heard they're quite large.
I have also heard that. Can confirm.
So, is there any? I kind of covered some random things about pretty much all my current hobbies. Is there anything that you can think of about your stuff that you want to talk about? Or are you gonna just keep playing with your lizard
He
over
keeps
there?
falling. Okay, I'm gonna put him on the table. Please hold. We need some good.
We are all holding. Wow, you could not make any more noise.
That's what I'm here for. I show up, make noise, and leave. That's why you pay me.
Oh, really?
But I don't know. I want to try and keep up with the reading because the reading for me is very much a come and go kind of thing. Another thing I enjoy doing that I think is fun, that I no longer think is fun. Not that I don't think it's fun, but in my mind it's more of a chore than a hobby, is the cover art for each episode. So I use my iPad and I make each cover art from photos that we have taken throughout our relationship. And I love it. I think it's a lot of fun. But when it comes down to the weekend before something goes out and I haven't made a picture to go with it yet, it's kind of stressful, and I see it more of as a chore than actually
This is what I brought up
something
to you.
fun.
This is what I brought up to you before when you first did the first one. I was like, you're signing up for a lot because it reminded me of doing a YouTube channel. It's a lot of work. It takes a few hours, and you're just, it might seem fun for the first 2 or 3, but now we're on to recording episode 8-ish. I don't know, 8 or 9 or something. And, we're going to be recording more every week for, who knows how long. So it's going to turn into a chore probably more than a hobby or fun. It's going to lose the fun aspect of it.
It is, but I think if I don't want to say catch up, but right now I am doing the artwork like the weekend before the episode comes out. And last night when I was doing it, I picked out a picture. I started doing it for the one that came out today, the episode that came out today. And I was sitting there, I enjoyed drawing it. Once I got into it, I didn't feel like it was a task or a chore anymore.
Did you finish it?
No, I'm very close, but it was like 11:30ish.
Yeah, by the way, this is not an album art that shows up somewhere in like Spotify or something. This is just a picture that Jamie posts to Instagram at Diaries of a Working Couple.
Diaries of a Working Couple is our handle on Instagram. Go check out my artwork. Please. Give me validation.
I'm begging you.
Tell me I'm good at something. No, but I think I only have like 1 or 2 pieces left. I think I have to do my hair and my face. But I really enjoyed it. It was different, it was refreshing, and I think if I catch up to where I'm not doing it the night before and I'm be able to. So this upcoming weekend, we're going to visit some friends up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So I might take my iPad on the trip with us and knock out a couple pictures. And that would be fun to do. I'm not artistic. I'm not able to draw. But if I trace things off pictures or I can craft. And that's fun.
I had a really cool idea about the pictures that you've been using today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what if we take that image and we take only the black sections, which would be all the outlines,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could put that on like things. Like you could put that on a pillow. the
That would be
outline.
cute.
I was thinking about that. Like, we could import that into the Cricut software and then just take the outlines, and then you could print that out in like a heat transfer vinyl and put it on a pillow.
That'd be really cool.
See? More hobbies.
More work for Jamie.
It's only if you want to do it.
I know. I do think it would be really cool. And I've thought about doing those kind of pictures for like family members for holidays or birthdays or Christmases as like gifts, you know?
And you could give them a customized pillow.
Or even like a printout, you know, if I take a picture and create it like that.
Yeah.
Kind of draw over it.
You get one of those canvases straight from Walmart where they just like print your image on it.
Yeah. Or even, and I've seen it done online where people are able to add different people in to the drawings, like people who weren't there
Oh yeah,
at
you
the
just
event.
you just throw another photo right on top and trace that in too.
Yeah, so I've thought about doing that, especially for some of our wedding photos. TBD.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know where that's going.
I don't know. We'll see what happens because I like being able to do it, and I know if I try to do it and I'm not good at it, I'm going to hate it and I'm never going to want to do it again. So.
Right. Let's end this episode
Go
on
team.
a positive note, which is...
That mystery ice cream was really good, and I'm going to try and get back into doing crafty things, not drawing. I'm sorry. And not taking off the lid of my wine glass and putting it back on.
Okay. So, yeah, I think I'm going to eat some more of that ice cream, once we wrap this up.
That was really good.
Any recipe suggestions or cocktail recipe suggestions, please send that to diariesofaworkingcouple@gmail.com.
Or if you have any activities or hobbies you think we should try out. After listening to this, you think we might find it fun, or a couple's activity that Chris can try and drag me out of the house for. Send them on over.
You can check out Jamie's drawings on Instagram at Diaries of a Working Couple. And feel free to send us a DM there if you have any recipes, or if you see any Instagram reels or pictures of recipes or, drinks and stuff like that. Send them our way because we're running out of ideas for food and drinks because I need a recipe to go out and buy other liquors to go make those drinks.
He acts like we don't have enough liquor in this house.
Right now I'm drinking a normal Jack and Coke, which, I would be very happy with in 99% of scenarios, but this is our time to be creative.
That's why we had the mystery ice cream, dear.
That is true. Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up here. So Thanks for listening.
Try and stay out of trouble. See you guys.
See ya.